Yes, Marek. Culture has many hats. Good point. Honorable audience, I thank the organizers for inviting me. Hopefully, within a limited time, I can give you a short insight of interests. Let me start by first mentioning that I have always brought with me, when going to China, the Edelman Trust Barometer. It shows that the Chinese trust in their government and governance is as double as high as the European countries and USA, and it is growing year by year. More than 9 out of 10 are happy with it. That is quite incredible. Through my work in TFF, Transnational Foundation for Peace and Research, I have been introduced to a model that can measure culture to culture using a 7-layer model, 7-dimensional, 7D if you like. It is developed by the two professors Frans Troppenaars from Vrije University in Amsterdam and Charles Hampton Turner in Cambridge. Professor Peter Pavarelli, with his 45 years of experience on China, helped in with the Chinese dimension. In general, the current academic models for studying regional cultures share a core concept of basic values as the drivers of human behavior. The basic values of nations can differ in various ways, leading to different behavior in similar circumstances. Several such differences are so basic that they are bound to lead to different appreciations of rights and obligations. The findings are outlined in the book, Has China Devised a Superior Path for Wealth Creation? Professor Pavarelli would have been one of the best to present this to you, but due to colliding activities, it falls on me with the professor's guidance from Africa. Dimensions of culture. How do you measure the managerial cultures of different nations? Troppenaars did pose a series of dilemmas to tens of thousands of managers worldwide who have attended the author's seminar to see on which side of those dilemmas they came down. The purpose of using dilemmas was to oblige a respondent to give priority to one of the two propositions. The word dilemma means two propositions in seeming conflict. These dilemmas are very unwelcome, and nearly all managers tell us that they feel torn. But it turns out to be a good way to identify cultural biases. The dilemmas are in this field, and you have been studying them now for a while, so I will not repeat them. So, due to time constraints, I will focus on just one of them. Then I leave it up to you to look into the others by simply getting closer to this very interesting book. So let's look at individualism versus communitarian. People in the West do generally seek more personal freedom, like individual rights, economy, speech, sexual orientation, and so forth. It is the ego that comes first. It is all about me. What you hear more and more often is, this is violating my rights. The ego and me comes first. Others, the community and country, comes second. In the East, let's say China, it is the opposite. China is built on the family structure and the Confucianism's principle of filial piety that is in their genes. Emperor, people, father, son, and so on. Families are traditionally dependent on the community. The community then becomes a bigger family, and so it expands bigger and bigger and ends up in a country. It is not for nothing that the country is called Guojia, literally translated as national family. Community comes first, then me. What is good for the community is good for me. So let me give a couple of personal examples. AI and 5G is said to be an industrial revolution. It is actually ongoing. Interesting to see is how China and the West are approaching these possibilities totally different. While the West is focusing on the end user, the individual, the consumer, is China focusing on research and innovation and implementation in the production line? This will result in higher quality, faster production time, lower reduction cost, etc., etc. This will gain and strengthen the country first, then the average Chinese. Second example, this year again a Chinese football team came to Norway Cup, the biggest football tournament for youth. In the preparation which I engaged in from both sides, there came a request from the organizers that eye masks were needed, 3,000 in total. This was for blocking the movie-triggered light in the sleeping rooms, the classrooms at schools. I contacted my co-founder in Beijing, and as long as this was just a few weeks before the tournament and the cost was an issue, traditional shipping was eliminated. I thought that they probably could bring all the masks in a big box as extra luggage. But she answered immediately and instinctively, I would say, that will be 180 masks to carry per person. She was not only doing the calculations very fast, she instinctively split the task on each and every in the team. I was thinking me, she was thinking community. This correlates perfectly with the findings using the 7D model. And if I can get another picture, you see the world map, the darker, the more me, the lighter, the more community. To strive for a better cooperation is a good ambition. The foundation of such lies in the understanding and respect of the others, the counterparts, the cooperating part. I believe this 7D model brings new proofs to the scene. Culture is a universal right, and therefore the cultural aspect must be within the Universal Declaration. All cultures' right, or the human rights. And let me emphasize that all cultures are equivalent. There is no such thing as a negative culture. Finally, a recent observation I did while visiting China and Chong'an late August. I do not speak Chinese. I do not know the signs. But I just learned that An, Chong'an, Xi'an, means calm, peace, and security. And it has this sign. So if you can switch to the sign, so everybody can see it. And this is, on top you see a roof, and the sign under is a sign of a woman. So as a former Vice President and Mayors for Peace, we close by saying peace in our house. Thank you.